Alright, today we're going to be talking about the new 4K restoration of Suspiria from Synapse Films. Last night I went to the North Park Theater in Buffalo, New York for a 9:30 screening of the film, and that was an amazing experience. To start off, it began with a music video from Claudio Simonetti, then went into a trailer for the John Barrymore silent black and white version for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Then we got hit with the barrage of Argento movie trailers. Started off with Demons 2, then it went into a little tribute for George Romero. We saw the Italian trailer for Dawn of the Dead, then the original trailer for The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and finally the last one was Phenomena, which is another Argento movie that I love. And then we went into the film. And I have never seen Suspiria look so pristine. Like, watching the movie, not just was it more vibrant, more colorful, more clear, but I didn't even spot like a single blemish or scratch or piece of dirt or dust. It was like watching a new film print. And the clarity was amazing. You could see individual pores, in people's skin, individual droplets of water being splashed with light, individual hairs on eyebrows and eyelashes. And it also looked brighter. Synapse has been working on this restoration for the past 3 or 4 years, and once you see it, you'll understand exactly why it has taken this long. They took such care with this original 35mm film print that it looks as new as it's probably ever going to look. The colors are more vibrant, they're more pronounced. And I don't just mean the reds and the blues and the greens, I mean things like even candlelight next to Susie's bed. It's more defined, more crisp, more natural. It's the same with skin colors. Like, none of the reds bleed over into the skin when they're not supposed to. Same with the blues. None of them are in places they're not supposed to be. When skin is supposed to be a natural skin color, it looks natural. When something is supposed to be extremely vibrant and colorful, it is vibrant and colorful. And the sound in the movie. The sound I actually enjoyed more than the visual aspect. During the restoration, it was remixed to match the original 4-channel stereo mix. And in the theater watching it, I actually was getting annoyed because I would constantly, for a second, think that somebody was talking in the back when it was actually, just the other dancers in the movie talking, from the back channels in the theater. And the same goes for outside scenes. Like the scene with Udo Kier. On DVD, that scene, it did feel a little flat. Like, I never noticed that it felt flat before, but seeing it in a theater and all of the depth that was in that scene, you heard people talking in the background extremely far away. You heard cars passing. And then for smaller scenes, like people sitting at a table, you could hear the slight clicking of their shoes moving. Or when someone was sitting brushing their hair, just that slight scratchy sound of their nightgown brushing back and forth. Not even taking into account the extreme imagery of the film, this new mix of the film just made it feel like you were almost watching a play. It made you part of the experience. More so than watching a movie, it was very immersive in that way. Especially the end sequence with Helena Marcos. I've seen the movie a bunch. I'm very familiar with how things play out. But watching that in the theater with the new visuals and the new sound mix, that was extremely intense. All of the different layers of sound hitting you at the same time, that was perfect. Now, I will mention something that the restoration of this film did bring forward that is a little bit disappointing. And this has nothing to do with the restoration itself. It has to do with how the film was originally shot. A lot of the shots are actually out of focus. And I don't mean 1 or 2 throughout the film. I mean at least 1 per scene. Like, you'll get a close-up of a face, and not a quick one, a lingering close-up of someone talking that's, slightly out of focus. It's clearly not supposed to be out of focus. Or the dog attack scene towards the middle of the film that takes place in the square. That actually has a bunch of shots that are very out of focus, especially the wide shots. In there you have, in the courtyard, nothing is in focus at all. And like I said, that has nothing to do with the restoration. That just has to do with how the film originally was. It's nothing you can change, but it was something I never noticed on the original releases. It's just everything is so clear that when it's contrasted with those, out of focus shots, it's very jarring. A little bit disappointing, but this is how the movie is. You can't fix that. It's the way it was shot. It's the way it was originally presented. No way to get around that. And this Synapse release is actually having a road show type of release to an extent. It's in Buffalo, New York right now for this weekend. Then it's moving on to Akron, Ohio, Austin, Texas, North Kansas, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, St. Louis, Santa Ana, Wichita, Kansas, London, Ontario, Knoxville. So it's going to be moving across the country over the next 2 months. So if you're not on that list, you can actually contact your local theaters, your smaller ones, see if they'll play it, and maybe they'll book it for a weekend or one special screening. But if it's not coming anywhere near you, and you don't have the opportunity to see it in a theater, yesterday, Friday, Synapse finally put up the pre-order for the limited edition steelbook of this release that's limited to only 6,000 copies. They still don't have a firm release date for it. They said they want to start shipping it out in mid to late November to keep it within the 40th anniversary of the film. And if you really want to see this restoration, you should pre-order this quickly. There were rumors yesterday that within the first couple hours of it going live, they had already sold 2,000 of the 6,000 copies that they're printing. So I can pretty much guarantee this is probably going to sell out quickly. But anyways, that is going to wrap up this review. Like I said, I highly recommend checking this out in a theater if you can. A couple people mentioned yesterday that they drove in a few hours just for the screening. Their drive coming in was actually longer than the film itself. So if you can see it in a theater, check it out. If not, pre-order that steelbook to guarantee yourself a copy, because it's going to be available in the next 3 to 4 months, hopefully. And, that's going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe. And if you love all things horror movies, monsters, and Halloween, be on the lookout for more videos like this in the future, because I always try to upload at least 2 or 3 every week.